What is up, YouTube, and welcome back to another Fridge Financials video. In today's video, we are talking about my portfolio review in my Roth IRA account. And believe it or not, my Roth IRA has actually outperformed all three of the major indices. We're going to break it down a little bit, talk about what my logic is to it, and get ready for the new year. So if you are excited for today's video, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and as always, turn on those bell notifications for all future uploads. As you'll see on my screen right now, we have the three major indices on the charts here. We have QQQ, which is the ETF that tracks the NASDAQ 100. We have SPY ETF, which tracks the S&P 500. And we have the Dow Jones index as well. And what you will see here is percentages. We have a great year to hopefully finish up with the markets here. QQQ, the NASDAQ, up 21%, SPY up 17%, and the Dow Jones up about 14%. And you're sitting there saying, well, Fridge, you actually beat that? And in my Roth IRA account, yes, I did. My year-to-date return for my Roth IRA is $3,400, or about 24% return. So not only did I beat SPY, not only did I beat the Dow Jones, but we also were in fact able to beat the NASDAQ 100, which to me is a huge thing to do because of, all the holdings in the NASDAQ more and the weightings behind it, like QQQ. You look at that ETF and it has a lot more. We actually pull it up right now, actually. Let's do it. Still down this cold here. Don't know when I'm going to get over it or not. So if you go into the QQQs, you take a look and see, again, they have the major holdings: NVIDIA, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Tesla. Your Mag 7 is here. It's got a lot of weight in that technology field, stuff like that. So it's hard to beat the QQQ. When we have a bull run, when we have a green year, it's going to be hard to slow down QQQ. Obviously, when you have a bearish year or a sell-off year or a slowdown year, it's not as bad because this will pull down a lot more as a result of it. But as you will see, Fridge Financials in his Roth IRA account is up 24% year to date. And I just opened this up, I believe, at the end of last year, which is crazy as to why, Fridge, did you not do it before? The Roth IRA is very, very powerful because the money that I take and put into it, when I want to withdraw it, I get it tax-free because I paid taxes on it when I got the money from my paycheck, and then when I put it into my Roth IRA, it comes out tax-free afterwards, which to me is absolutely awesome. It's taken out after taxes in my paychecks there. That cash I have left over, so it's already been taxed on, so whatever I get returns in here are going to be tax-free when I withdraw it. Now, obviously, you can only max it out at $7,000, which I have. The nice thing I like with Robinhood Gold also, not a plug, not an affiliation, is that you get a 3% match. So I made an extra $210 on IRA this year. Next year, 2025 or 2026, I should say, when I can contribute, it's up to $7,500, which is absolutely awesome. And we can definitely max that out and then have a very good portfolio. And looking at my overall holdings, you'll be like, Fridge, that's all you got? Yeah. And this is all I need, baby. Because what we have here is you have a lot of exposure in different sectors. But I picked these ETFs with a sole purpose. And I'll show you as the breakdown also. As you'll see here, we actually have some options on Novo Nordisk after a big pullback, and Kraft Heinz as well. I don't know about the Kraft Heinz ones as much. The only thing I hate about the Roth IRA is you can't sell poor man's cover calls. Otherwise, I would to pay these down a little bit. But the Novo Nordisk calls right now are sitting down about $800 right now. So I actually would have a little bit better of a return if I didn't do this. But they don't expire until January 2027. So I got plenty of time for Novo Nordisk to, hopefully break back up to the upside. My break even is $64. They have the Wegovy pill that was approved for oral use, which is great. So I'm not too worried about them. And then Kraft Heinz has had a big pullback. They're announcing some sort of, corporation split. And the hope there is that it's going to hopefully be some restructuring and hopefully do really well for Kraft Heinz. This one doesn't go until 2028. So it's very, very far out here. And we'll end up like $90. So, if I don't like what Kraft Heinz does, we can always get rid of it, as we know. But so the options, Fridge, you're trading options in your Roth. Yeah, they're down right now, but I got time on my side, as you will see here, to hopefully get a little bit of a return. And also the good thing is that usually, if we are preparing for a crazy in the market or it's a down year, usually the stocks that do well in these volatile times is dividend payouts, and Kraft Heinz is one of those dividend paying stocks, as you know here. So hopefully the stock will do a little bit. It's kind of almost like a mini hedge that Kraft Heinz will hopefully do better as other tech companies sell off, stuff like that. But obviously we don't know. Now, And take a look at the 3 stocks here. These are actually all 3 ETFs here, as you will see. So first ETF we have here is Schwab US Large Cap Growth ETF. Again, I can't touch this money until I'm like 59 and a half, so I got like 30 more years to go on it. So I have 100 shares of it. I could sell some covered calls, which I kind of want to do at some point anyway. I did it earlier, and I was able to, I got assigned a couple of them, which you'll see. But I could sell some covered calls if I want to for, if I want to go really far out because it's growth ETF, I can make an extra 15 bucks. Do I really want to? Not really. But we had a lot more in this account here. We're up $256 on these ones, but what you will see is that we had our assignment here, so we got paid profit on top of that, which is absolutely awesome. Then I used some of that money and I bought back in shares, and I'm getting a dividend as well, which I got a dividend, which is absolutely awesome. So this ETF right here is focusing on a lot of growth companies. As you will see here, it still has NVIDIA, Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, Tesla. It's got all the major ones here. So it's that exposure almost to QQQ. But the weightings are a little bit higher. You compare this one compared to QQQ. This one has a lot more weight in NVIDIA, Apple, Microsoft, all that kind of stuff. So wanted to get a huge growth movement in this kind of ETF here, which I think is absolutely awesome. The good thing about ETFs, guys, as you balance your portfolios, is that this automatically rebalances. So if NVIDIA drops like a rock for whatever reason, it's going to rebalance it. So you don't have to worry about that as much. But excuse me. Oh my goodness. But 58.4% of total assets here are going to be just in those top 10 holdings. So a lot of weight is in that technology section, as you will see here, which is absolutely great. Again, trying to get advantage of those companies long-term and the exposure without having to own the actual shares. The next one I have is the VanEck Semiconductor ETF, which, as we know, computer chips, technology, that kind of stuff is huge. This is 100% in technology here. Still has exposure to NVIDIA, but it also has Taiwan Semiconductor, it's got Broadcom, it's got Micron, it's got AMD, ASML. So a lot of companies, Texas Instruments, Qualcomm, like these ones you probably didn't see on that previous list. When I was picking these ETFs, I want to make sure there was not a lot of overlap. Because if there's a lot of overlap in your ETFs, why would I need to spread it out as much if basically they do the same thing? It'd be like getting VOO and SPY. They do the same thing. They're the same holdings, both tried the S&P 500. So, and obviously no one would really do that, I feel like, but you never know. But for some people, what they do is if they do SPY and QQQ, there's a little bit of overlap in those ETFs there. So I try to pick ETFs that don't have a lot of overlap in the holdings, which is what I'm looking at here. So this is my top 10 holdings right here. A lot of it's in NVIDIA and Taiwan, which again, semiconductor chips, manufacturing, all that kind of stuff like that. Very, very huge. AI in the future, all that kind of stuff is definitely there. Up 49% on this ETF, which is absolutely amazing. I want to add more to my position overall. Hopefully, I would like to one day be able to get enough to sell covered calls on it because the premiums, these premiums are juicy, like $800, $500. Absolutely amazing stuff that could definitely really, rocket the Roth IRA even more. And then the last one that we have, which I think is a slipped on one here, is a quantum computing ETF. Now, the quantum computing ETF is up 21% year to date right now. I've got 39 shares of that one. I got paid out a dividend, or I'm going to be getting paid a $16 dividend on that, which is absolutely amazing. Oh, and another 79 cents right here. So I'm getting another $17-ish dividend here. I got a $21 from the VanEck Semiconductor one as well. And take a look at the holdings here. A lot of these companies, as you will see, very heavy tech, but a lot of diversity, okay? So a lot of different stocks here and not a lot of percentage into one thing. Quantum computing is what people are saying is going to be the next wave, but it's very, very early stages. Okay, I kind of think of quantum computing almost like how Bitcoin and cryptos kind of do it, where it's a very, very advanced programming, software, computers, that kind of stuff. And what it does is allows you to break down complex algorithms, problems in the computer that normal computers can't do. And you can use that to optimize, finance world, the healthcare world, the environment, whatever the case is. There's a lot of potential in quantum computing. A lot of companies aren't profitable yet that are in quantum computing. I will tell you that. But this is actually very, very nice because it's a really early exposure. And again, it's up 21% overall. I opened this up at the end of last year, so basically up, that much. Take a look at the ETF for the year. Actually, it's up 35.65%. which again is an unbelievable return in a quantum computing ETF. Now, if you sit there saying, Fridge, that's a lot of information to break down here. I look at the holdings here. Don't worry, because there's this website here that I found that's pretty cool, and it compares the three ETFs. And you can kind of get a little bit of an idea as to why I'm looking at these ETFs here. What you will notice is that the daily volume here is very, very small for quantum computing for this one, because a lot of people don't really know much about it. Don't want to get into it just yet. But again, taking a look at the performances, year to date, Quantum's up 38%, SMH is up 51%, and SCHG is only up 19%. So my big heavy hitters were Quantum and semiconductor ETFs here. Now, obviously, that's in a bull market, and we have a nice rally here. If we get a bear market, obviously, as you'll see, like back when we had the tariff news and stuff like that, we had some big sell-offs here compared to SCHG. But, again, that's why this is here to kind of, reduce a little bit of that overexposure in the technology sectors here, right? But expense ratios are a little bit higher for these two ETFs compared to the SCHG ones, which is obviously not a big deal, but keep that in mind when you look at your expense ratios. And then here's the cool thing, okay? Looking at these top 10 holdings here, like you look across the board and it's very hard to find a stock that fits into all three. Like I see one, and it's NVIDIA. And NVIDIA is 21% here, 11% here, but then it's 1% down here. It barely made the top 10 for quantum ETF. And NVIDIA is one of those ones that everybody loves, eats, sleeps, and breathes it, right? But taking a look at everything else, this one's not even traded on the U.S. market. So you won't find that one on here. Nutanix, I don't see that stuff on here. Micron Technology, I see Micron is here, but it's not in this one. Okay, so that's good. This is how I picked these three ETFs, was to make sure there's a balance across the board. Nokia, I don't see that one anywhere close. RTX, same thing, nowhere close. Lam Research, I see it here, and I see it here, and that's about it. Not over here at all. Orange, don't see anything there. This one, don't see anything. And this, again, the one that overlaps in the top 10 holdings is NVIDIA. Okay, so that's what I like about these three different ETFs, and I'm happy and comfortable with all three of these because I still get exposure to different sectors. Okay, not a lot, but obviously I'm more heavily focused on technology and stuff like that. But that I feel like is the future of where we're going and stuff. But you still have SCHG with the communications. You still have a little bit of retail, health services. You got a little bit of everything still, which again is really still good for us overall. But this is how your boy, Fridge Financials, was able to outperform the major indices in the Roth IRA. I think it's something to say, well, Fridge, I look at your individual one and it's down for the year. It's like, yeah, but my individual one is like me trying to trade stocks and trade options, stuff like that. We're going to have up and down days no matter what still. What I really care about is my two major accounts here, my Roth IRA, and then I have another account as well, which I'll cover in a different video. But those ones are doing very, very well overall. So that's what really matters. Again, only less than 10% of my net worth is really in the trading aspect of things here. So if I lose a little bit of money there, that's no big deal for me. I'm not going to lose all 10 grand or 11 grand, whatever it's at now. But, the big heavy hitter that I like to see, the Roth IRA is being the S&P 500, all three of the major indices, actually. The other one that I have that I'll cover in a different video, that one is, I think, a little bit on pace for SPY. It's definitely not beating the NASDAQ, but it's on pace for SPY and definitely beating the Dow Jones. So stay tuned for that video coming out in a little bit later on. But thank you guys so much for watching today's video and dealing with my sickness. I know I keep coughing on the microphone and I apologize for it. But we have a Roth IRA that has outperformed all the major indices year to date. That is not an easy thing to do, and I'm super excited to see how we do next year. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you made this fun the video, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and as always, turn on those bell notifications for all the future uploads. Hope to make you money in the market in some way, shape, or form, just like we are doing in the retirement accounts. And as always, I will catch you guys in the next video.